good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Hoops with Kev Luke. We are back at it again today on Friday, June 19th. Of course, I got to say happy Juneteenth to all my beautiful black folks out there, man. Y'all enjoy this day. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Celebrate safely, celebrate responsibly, but definitely celebrate us as a people. So I had to put that out there, man. But today, I got two of my favorite basketball minds, two of my favorite content creators, two of my favorite podcast hosts. I got the Hoopers, Fresh, Dub. Welcome to the show, man. How y'all doing?
Man, we can't complain. Look, when you just said it's June 19th, I just thought it's the perfect day for all of us
to be together now, right? This is like the perfect trio for this.
Yeah, we the perfect trio to have to talk hoops on Juneteenth, man. So it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. And it's long overdue. We ain't got down on nothing like in a while.
We didn't really do nothing this season because it was a light season for us too. Because we was doing some different things and transitioning. So it's been a minute. So we well overdue.
Well overdue. So I'm glad to have y'all, man. But I gotta ask y'all because I've been a supporter of the show, the Hoopers, man, for I don't even know how long it's been. It's been some time. I feel like we've known each other for a minute. So I gotta ask y'all about the origin story. How'd y'all form? What made y'all get into the podcast game? What made y'all just want to talk hoop? Like what was the backstory to the Hoopers?
Yeah.
So you came up with the name, so
yeah. The name the Hoopers is actually from people who remember, and I guess we can't get sued for it now because they don't do it no more anyway. But it was remember the State Farm commercial with the family Hoopers. So that's where it came from. So that's where it came from. And we hooped. I played semi-pro, a little bit of college, and then we just hooped our whole life. But the actual podcast started in the NBA Finals, Toronto, when they was playing Golden State. That's when the podcast started, just off of years of playing and then talking, because we always talk hoops. We just go to people that people talk to about hoop, and then we actually really hoop. That was kind of the idea behind all of it. So, but the podcast came because before podcasting, we've been in the content creation. I do video editing, production, and stuff like that. So we did other stuff like music, events, and stuff like that. But naturally, we're hoopers, so
it made sense.
Yeah, and it was also just one last thing about it. It was we used to always go back and forth with some of our homies about it. I'm gonna give them a shout out for this because you know how the group chat get before the group chat. But one of our homies once told us, he was like, "Bro, the way y'all be talking about basketball, if y'all was more animated, y'all would be famous." So we was we just gonna do it how we do it, and you're gonna listen to it, or some people might like it, some people don't, but it's just organic. We just talk hoops.
Nah, yeah, for sure. And even to double down on the State Farm thing, we are brothers, so that's just a natural thing. So the Hoopers, that was the family thing. Boom, bam.
Go back and watch that commercial though. I always thought it was just a good idea.
I want to say this too because we've never said this on record. Everybody using that word. Find we are the first people to say somebody's a hooper,
especially on NBA Twitter.
Not a joke, not even trying to be funny. Nobody. Yeah, if I can go back and find the tweet, we would want. I'm pretty sure it was one of his tweets, but we would have been before people started saying nah, yeah, hooper.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah, man, but that leads me to the A, man, because look, like I said, y'all from the A. The Hoopers that y'all been producing recently, man. We gonna talk about Ant-Man. We gonna talk about Jaylen Brown, but I always go back to Lou Will, one of my favorite players growing up. Josh Smith, obviously a Hawks legend from the city. Dwight Howard, obviously Hall of Famer, one of the better centers, this century, just this generation. So just talking about the evolution of Atlanta Hoopers. I feel like nowadays more than ever, y'all just producing them. You look at Caleb Wilson, he about to be a top 5 pick in the draft in a few weeks. He's through and through Atlanta, right? I just ran into him not too long ago. So just talk to me about the producers that y'all put out, or send me the Hoopers that y'all put out there, and how far y'all done risen in that realm of basketball out there in the A, man.
Yeah, and he's just in the finals. Stephon Castle is Metro Atlanta, and Devin Vassell. I don't know, they way younger than I am, but they from here, so they came up out of here too. But honestly, bro, basketball run deep here. When you even go back to the 90s, when you get into Deion Glover, Sharif Abdul-Rahim,
James Forrest.
We've always produced high quality talent here, just because we in the South, so it's athletes here, period. Yeah. But I think Sharif took it to another level because of how big he was nationally, and then was he one and done, two and done? He wasn't in school that long or whatever, but he was a national force. And then you get into Dwight, and Lou was like Jordan to us. Like, I remember being on the court with Lou. I'm in the 9th grade. We just summer workouts, like just open runs or whatever, and just like he was like Jordan, bro. It was like Lou was different because South Gwinnett, it's not in Atlanta, it's in Gwinnett County, but it's Metro Atlanta. But it's just a regular school, and they were playing Oak Hill and like that, all off the strength of Lou. And I remember he first told me Mike Mercer was a beast as well, but Lou was that guy. But Mike was a beast. And I remember he first told me about Lou. I had to be
my 9th grade.
Yeah, your 9th grade year. So Lou
in the throwback magazine,
and he averaged like 30 that year. And by his senior year, yeah, he was. But Lou was just one of many. No, but he just took it to another level, though, for sure.
I give it credit because we got that nice mix. Like New York has the outside, that's where you go. Cali out outside, DC, but we get such nice weather. We be outside all summer, but we also got gyms. I'm not saying y'all don't have gyms, but going to the gym is a big thing down here. Like even if it's just you and your homies from the neighborhood, and y'all go like how we used to when we was younger. We going downtown. We going to the west side. We going to the east. We didn't really go to the north side because it's Atlanta. We don't really go that way. Going down to the south side. So it's like you finding basketball competition everywhere, and to the point like he's saying, he on the court with Lou. You could pull up anywhere and top 30 players in the gym randomly. Like y'all know who that is, right? Like it'll been plenty times like men and women. Like definitely been.
We ain't talking about the women.
Right, we ain't even talking about the women.
I was just gonna say, you look at Taya Cooper, Diamond DeShields. I know it's way more, but just recently,
our age group is more, bro. We watched her win one of those chips. Like we were there in the building watching her win it and knowing she was about to be one of the best players ever. Because the way she played then was just different. It was just different, and she was just so polished and she was poised even back then. But from her to, we used to play pickup at this gym called Best. It's a high school called Best Academy, and Diamond DeShield used to work out there. And we used to have a private session. She'd be on the end hooping, but even the girls, like hoops is just deep here.
Sure. Even the ones like that's from down here that didn't make it, the Vincent Banks. That's the thing. That's one. If you ever come down to the city and you just on some hoop shit and you get your older crowd, just ask them about Vincent Banks. Like,
and Vincent, I mean, because I just saw Josh Smith, they asked him his top 5 Atlanta. People in the NBA that's from Atlanta, if you ask them their top 5 hoopers, Vincent Banks is consistently going to be in that top 5. As somebody that he didn't make it to the NBA, didn't even do anything in college because of other stuff. So if you don't know Vincent Banks, I promise it won't hurt if you look him up.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you even look at Georgia Tech, like some of the players that they produce, I think people be forgetting. Like, obviously, shout out to Jose Alvarado. We're going to talk about him in a second, too. I know he's from New York, but played there. You look at Kenny Anderson, Shump, Chris Bosh, like, Georgia Tech was popping. Man, what? All types of dudes going down there. Yeah, so I just feel like at all levels, the A got it on lock right now. But I want to jump to the NBA real quick with the Hawks because, obviously they ended up losing, what was that, in the first round to the Knicks, who obviously went on to win a championship. But as a whole, I thought the Hawks had a pretty impressive season. When you look at, getting the Alexander Walker, Jaylen Johnson had, a third-team All-NBA type season. Dyson Daniels, one of the better perimeter defenders in the league right now. I think, Quinn Snyder just signed an extension, if I'm not mistaken. So, as a whole, the Hawks look like they trying to do something. I know it was a major rearrangement, letting go of Trae Young after, 7 seasons, I believe. So, just tell me about the Hawks, what you see from this past season, and where you think they can go from here.
The Hawks are such a what you see is not what you get type of team because like I said, at the end of the season they had one of the toughest schedules. So with Trae being hurt, with Porzingis being hurt, they didn't look good, honestly. Like it just didn't look good. And of course, as soon as we trade Porzingis, one day the Hawks don't get paid by them. It turns around. They also get the easiest schedule, but you see what the type of mix of players that they need. That's something like when me and Fresh talk and we do like, of course, when trade talks come, I always say, I don't know what players, need to get traded or what, players team need to go after, but I can tell you the skill set of the player that they need. And the Hawks have been trying to build that the last couple of years, with Trae as the centerpiece. You go get you a Jaylen Johnson athletic 3-4 hybrid. You go get Kongu, who's a rim threat on offense and defense. You go get bigger guard, bigger wings, and Dice and Zach. Zach didn't work out how they thought he was, but that's why they call it the lottery. Win some, you lose some. Never really figured out that backup point guard situation. Excuse me, but we bring in Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and it's like that's the type of point guard he needed as a backup because you can run together with Nikhil on the ball, so Trey can get off the ball, or have Nikhil as off. But he's also a good defender, long arms, athletic, knock down shots. And you see that with CJ McCollum, who's not necessarily the playmaker that Trey is, but he can score off the dribble, coming off the pick. He can find open teammates and whatnot. But it was just a perfect match of skill set at the right time. Like I said, the easiest part of the schedule. We know who we playing. You bring in another player like Kuminga, who I'm not necessarily a fan of Kuminga, but he fits with the mold of type of players that they have because he come in for either Jaylen Johnson or Dice or he ain't up all Zach reach statements at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think with I said coming into the year, and it's funny because I just saw Trae Young talking about it too. I think people who really knew if the Hawks didn't get off to a particular start, they were gonna move him, and I think that's what he was prepared to do. When he come out, he gets hurt. They started off slow. The Porzingis thing, he got hurt as well. So I don't think it was surprising that they moved on from Trae. Jaylen Johnson has kind of been on this cusp of doing this for the last couple of years, and we finally get a fully healthy year out of him. I think the Hawks, they look good, but it's going to be very interesting to see, one, what they do in the draft, and two, what they do in the offseason. Because they did go on a hot streak. You can't knock what they did, but it was a little bit of luck of the schedule. Plus, they were playing well. Everybody was hungry. CJ said he tired of moving. He don't want to move his kids around. Kuminga was proving himself. Jaylen Johnson wanted to make All-NBA. So, but I want to see, you don't want to be too aggressive in the summer and do anything crazy, but I wouldn't want them to come back with, let's just roll this whole roster out here and have this idea that this team will finish in the top 3 or something, because I think they finished with one of the 3 or 4 best records in the league after the trade deadline or whatever. So you can't just be content with that, but you got to like where you're going, because I think Jaylen Johnson is legit. I think Nikhil is legit, and CJ is a good piece for them going to the summer. They're in a good position in the draft. I'm not a draft guy, but I know some of the guys, but I do know they're in a good position where they can either get a good player or they can package something and bring something else in. I think the main thing is, how are they building this team around Jaylen Johnson? I think they're going to view him, I don't want to do a comparison thing, but just to make it colorful, you want to kind of build him in the sense of kind of like Giannis. He's going to handle the ball. He's going to attack downhill. He's not afraid to shoot, but you're not scared if he's shooting threes or whatever. So it's what makes sense around him. So I'm interested to see what they do in the draft. I was hoping they were going to get a higher pick because I really like the idea of Darius Cuff coming to Atlanta. I think a nice guard would be that would be really great here. But what are they, 8?
8, yeah. And
there's some other good guards in the draft. I'm not going to act like I know them all like that. I know Cuff. I know Brown. I know Keaton. I like Flemings, but the one that I like the most is Darius Cuff. I think Cuff is legit. Outside of the big 3 in the draft, I feel like him and Caleb Wilson is a toss-up for who I would want. So that's who I was real high on for the Hawks again, but I don't think he's going to be there at 8. But you got to be optimistic about what they're doing because they're young. Jaylen Johnson I think he is really good, and he's been out to prove himself too. Because remember, he left early at Duke during the COVID year or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he got hurt, and there was some doubts about him, but he got real game. So the Hawks are going in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. So you talked about the draft. I wanted to ask you about the draft. I want to talk about that top 3 first, or I want to talk about the top 3, but let's just stick with the Hawks real quick because I tend to agree with you. I think they need a point guard, and I think they need a center. I think those 2 would be the main 2 ingredients. So just, you brought up Darius Cuff. I love Darius Cuff. I definitely think he's one of the better guards, maybe the best guard in the class. But I love Adai Mar too from Michigan. I think he's honestly, Pau Gasol reincarnated. And I feel like it's tough for the Hawks because it's the perfect draft class. So you'd be crazy to not draft a guard. But if you didn't draft a guard, I could definitely understand the logic behind drafting an Adai Mar because I do think, especially in today's NBA, y'all remember, bro, a few years ago, they were talking about the center position is dead, it's gone. And now look at us now. You got Wemby, my Joker. It's always going to be around. Go ahead.
And with that, I want to give it's funny, bro. I want to give him his credit for that because when the league was going a particular way, I remember him telling me, bro, in like 2020, 2019, like, and everybody's getting the shooters now, but it's gonna be skilled centers that people are gonna want in a couple of years. And then Jokic pop and Embiid pop. We getting Wemby now. He said that in like when the league was Houston was playing PJ Tucker at center. He was like, "Nah, we gonna get skilled centers, and that's what people are gonna want." So I will give his credit for that.
No, how the game was going, that don't make sense. Like, but yeah, they took it. So that was crazy, yo. Like,
hey, don't remind me, he was doing that for us for a season in Miami too, bro. It was the same thing, but yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, man, to Dub's credit, basketball is a game of trends, and trends is changing constantly. You know what I'm saying? So you can never get too high or too low based on what you're doing. You just kind of got to find your flow. And then you also got to try and find the next rhythm to march to, because I feel like that's just what the league is. In the NFL, NBA, whatever, it's a copycat league. We know that. So it's all about just setting that next one and sticking to it. But to me, bro, the essence of the game, you always going to need a point guard. You always going to need wings that can score and defend. And you always going to need bigs that can rebound and defend at a high level too. So I hate when people try and overthink that, because at the end of the day, basketball is basketball. It's no analytics that you could use to change that or infiltrate the game, even when they try to. But it is what it is. But as for the Hawks, like I said, I don't think they can go wrong, bro. I really don't. But talk to me about this top three. I feel like it's a major, I'll say, conundrum right now, right? When you look at the Wizards got the first pick, the Jazz got the second pick, the Grizzlies got the third pick, which I think is the most fascinating of the three. But you got options. You got Darren, you got AJ, you got Cam, you got Caleb. Some people would say Darius Acuff is in that mix. So just how do y'all see that top three playing out? Who you think the Wizards got their eye on? Who you think, how you think this thing shakes out?
I feel like it's already an unspoken agreement, an unheard agreement between Peterson and the Wizards. But if I'm the Wizards, I'm in that front office. Shout out to Bradley Beal, because this is in no way putting down. He was a good player. He was a good scorer for what he was. I wouldn't want to double back down that route 5 years later. I would probably go AJ, because I just feel like offensively he's ready for the NBA today. Love Cam Boozer. Like, his dad was Carlos Boozer, and I don't think people realize just the unfair advantage of just the knowledge you have, because you've seen your dad go through it. You press ready, you coach ready, you front office ready. Depending on how you use your talent and your skills, you're court ready. So it's like all three of them can't miss. But if I'm Washington, and Darren Peterson's gonna be a good player. Like, I want to say this because not to his level, because I didn't play in college, but I understand what a bad cramp feels like. Yes, you will not want to play though. You will not want to play the 15 minutes in that second half. A bad cramp is terrible. Trust me. Full body cramp. Like, yeah, no. So I don't take that away from him, but I wouldn't be scared, but I would be wondering if are we rebuilding around Bradley Beal again? And while that might not be enough to scare him off, I would just go with AJ, because I just feel like offensively he's going to be ready to go from the first moment he get in training camp.
Yeah, I think I'm going back and forth about AJ and Darren Peterson since last summer, because I feel like AJ is going to be not just a really good basketball player, but I feel like he's one of those franchise face pieces. Like, he's good with the media. The fans are going to like him. He has a good personality. He has a little. I don't think he's.
I think his basketball carries.
Yeah, I don't think he's arrogant, but he's he's definitely confident. He doesn't come off as arrogant to me, but he comes off as he knows who he is. But I really like watching Darren Peterson play basketball. Like, it just feels like he always makes the right play.
Now, as a guard, that's the kind of guard you want to be, right?
It's like he never shoots the wrong shots. Going back to high school, even like high school, just like think about how he played. And because remember when they played each other, they played out here at Meadow Creek High School. Shout out to Chris Allen. He went to Chris Allen, Michigan State. They played Meadow Creek. What did they? It was like 50 to 48 as far as their points against each other. And it's like Darren didn't take a single bad shot in a 50 piece. It's like, you're gonna take one or two bad shots.
Right.
He just always makes the right play. And another crazy, it's like similar to KD, how it just seems like he, not comparing them as players, but just how it just seems like he doesn't take bad shots. But I feel like AJ is a star. I also think AJ is comfortable going to because Utah has been manufacturing him coming to Utah for about 5 years now. It's why he's at BYU, it's why he went to Utah Prep. They've been paying for him for years. And I think Washington knows that as well. What's crazy is I don't think it's not it's nothing against Cam Boozer because we was talking about him at the combine. He was the best one out there. Like put him in a workout, the measurables.
Yep.
He looks like an all-star player. He looks like a walking all-star player. The only thing I struggle with Cam Boozer, which this isn't a negative, but it's just like, is he the best player on a championship team? That's not a bad thing because he's one of your top 2 players. He's going to help lead a team to a championship. I just think if I'm one of the top 2 teams, though, I will. And I think the top 2 teams could use a guard more anyway. Yeah. So if I was one of them, if I'm Washington, I'm going Darren Peterson, and maybe that's just how I want to see it play out. I want Darren to go to Washington, and I want AJ to go to Utah. And Cam will go 3. Caleb and Darius, I don't think they got real talk.
I feel like Caleb gonna go 3. I feel like
Memphis gonna be crazy because, like you said, they are the ones that's in the most position to do something crazy. Because I mean, trade Ja, do they want a point guard?
Man,
trade Jaren Jackson. They traded the Lockdale. I think the back of the case. It's like who's they big right now. So Memphis is gonna be interesting for sure. Yeah, I don't know where they going.
Yeah, it's interesting because I agree with damn near everything that both y'all just said. To me, I'm probably going Darren at 1 just because what you just said right there, Fresh, is that when him and AJ matched up in high school, Darren was 9 times out of 10 the better player on the floor. And that, to me, means a lot. And even when they played Kansas BYU this year, like, I know it was a weird game. It was a lot going on, but, like, Darren, and that's the thing, too. Like, bro, Darren got, like, that. I hate to say it because the kids are dragging out the mud now, but Darren got that star aura, bro. Like, you know when the dude just walk on the floor and it's like, okay, you know he about to go off. That's how I feel about Darren. I know a lot of people are killing him for this past season at Kansas. I get it. He was coming off the floor. He wasn't playing in big-time games. As a college basketball fan, y'all know me. I was hurt watching that. But at the same time, you cannot ignore this dude's scoring capabilities because the moment he catches the ball, bro, he's a threat to dunk on you, shoot over you, or he's getting to the spot regardless. And there's nothing you could do about it. So to me, I'm going Darren 1. And then as you mentioned, Fresh, I think Utah has been working for AJ to be a Jazz for years on end now, right? He goes to Utah Prep. He's from Massachusetts. He's at BYU last year, gets like over $6 million, whatever the case may be. And then I just don't see him leaving the state of Utah, which is crazy to say, but here we are. And then at 3, it's tough because, like y'all mentioned, you got Cam, you got Caleb, you got Darius. Like, it's a whole bunch of different ways Memphis can go. But to Memphis's credit, I mean, I'd argue that they're one of the better front offices in the league right now when it comes to evaluating and drafting talent. You look at Cedric Cowherd last year. You look at Zach Edey. You look at shout out to Jaylen Wells. He was a Division II product, right? Obviously, you had Ja, you had Jaren, as you mentioned, but they could go any which direction, and it really wouldn't surprise me. And then for Chicago, too, I mean, look, just hire Tiago Splitter. Essentially, you're trying to, revamp that front office. You just need an identity. The Bulls honestly haven't had an identity since, I'm calling it spade a spade, since Jimmy left. I mean, like, they tried with the Lonzo Caruso stuff, but, like, Jimmy was the last real dude that you felt like you could have maybe built around, and they kind of just let him go. So I don't know what they're going to do. But that Clippers pick at 5, to me, is going to be where the draft gets super interesting because I don't know what's up with the Clippers, right? We hearing you could trade Kawhi. You just traded for Darius Garland. Do you want to go point guard when you just got a dude that's an all-star, caliber point guard? So I think the draft's going to be fascinating, man. So, yeah, what y'all think? So what players do y'all like? I know you say, y'all don't keep up too much, but just throw some names out there. Like, who would you like to see go to a certain place? Who's your favorite players? Dudes you think that should be lottery that probably aren't? What y'all thinking?
Not going to lie. and he'll tell you this, because players like Caleb Wilson, every 2 years, he's athletic. You hoping that his skill set is going to match up to everything else and it's going to be this amazing player. Comp is already Amari, which is a good comp because once Amari got into who he was as a basketball player, he could dribble, he could shoot it, pump fake, get to the rim, all that stuff. he could have been a better rebounder, but whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. He didn't even take a round for rebound. I feel like Caleb Wilson can be the one player. If the Clippers can get, I feel like if somebody's gonna make a trade, because Darius already said he want to go to Sacramento. I don't know how true that is, but that's where he want to go. Sacramento does need a point guard though, so it does make sense. But if I'm Sacramento, Caleb Wilson and what's my man from Houston, Fleming. Those should be the key for Sacramento, because we already know that Zach getting his 50. We already know how that's going to play out. But they need a player who. It's something about Sacramento having either a point guard and a power forward that's just ready to go. Jay Will, Bibby, Chris Webber, Boogie at center. It's just something about having that player that when they touch the ball, it's like the crowd, because it's Sacramento, the crowd, no matter how bad the front office and the owner is, them fans, and I know you know for a fact, you on that side of, you on that side of the map. Fans love it. Like when they were good, we all loved it. Like we was all like the beam.
Facts.
They need a player who has a set skill set that he can use his rookie year just to make something happen. And I feel like Fleming as a defender and as a good floor general, like, because that's what Zach LaVine needs anyway. He needs somebody that can get him the ball so he can take the toughest, easiest shots in the world. Because he gonna shoot these tough shots, but they're easy for him. And if he can get a point guard, like I feel like Cuff's probably gonna be gone. They can get Flemings, that's the point guard of your future. Like say defensively, we know he's gonna be there. Offensively, he had great nights at Houston. Like if Flemings played this way, like that's what they needed in the championship when they lost. Like they needed somebody on that wing who was like, give me the ball, I got us. Like, and I feel like that's what Flemings can eventually become, because he had the jump shot does look good, first step. And once again, defensively, when you out west, you just need somebody at point guard. And that's probably going to be the easiest pick Sacramento can make if they can't get a cup.
The player I like the most in this draft, honestly, is Darius Cuff, but it's one other dude, and I don't know where he would go, but from Tennessee, Nate Ament, I think if he can get somewhere where he's like last year, what's my guy that played for Washington? He went to Texas. Trey Johnson. They're the same, but I feel like Nate is a scorer. And I feel like if he can go somewhere where, like, potentially, and I don't know if he's going to be in there in that range. I don't know where his draft range is. But I know Miami got a top 15 pick if they still have it after Giannis.
Yeah, 13.
I imagine if they move off of Hami and then you get him, he could score. So you kind of get that scoring off the bench, and it's not pressure on him, so he can kind of be free to hoop. Like I think he could help somebody out scoring. He has a smooth scoring game to me. He's somebody that I like his game a lot. But outside of that, bro, I really just watched a lot of Darius and Cuff last year. Like I own him coming out of high school, and then Coach Cal always gonna get the nod okay with me with his guards. But I just feel like my favorite comparison for him is like he like Stephon Marbury. Like I think he's gonna be really good. But outside of him, I do like Caleb Wilson too, though. Caleb Wilson in the right spot. Yeah, he's gonna get him with a good guard. He's gonna be a beast for sure.
Nah, I agree, man. I'll just throw out a little my draft tidbits. Like two guards that I'm really looking forward to see where they go is LeBaron Philon from Alabama and Malik Thomas from Arkansas, who actually played, of course, with Darius Cuff. Yeah, because I feel like, me personally, Malik Thomas is a lottery talent. I don't know why he's not getting that buzz, but I think he averaged like 16 points a game playing next to Darius Cuff. Again, like that's not a tough thing to do. And that's not me calling Darius selfish by any stretch of the imagination, because he deserved to have the ball in his hands, and he had an historic, freshman season at Arkansas. But Malik Thomas can go. And I think a lot of people in 5 years, we're going to look back and be like, damn, how did we draft all these guards and just overlook this kid? Because he's been nice for a long time. Like, he played an overtime elite, obviously where y'all at down there, originally from Pittsburgh, and 6'5", just guard that can just get a bucket from anywhere. I think the league needs that, right? And I think that's just where it's at now. If you can't score, if you're not a threat offensively as a guard, it's going to be tough to play you, because you just have to be. Like, yes, you can get your assist, but eventually, what's the main point of the game? You got to put the ball through the bucket, bro. So I love Malik Thomas and LeBaron Philon too. I mean, look, people are throwing that Shea comparison out there. I get it, because he has like a different twitch. He plays with a different feel and pace, so I get it. I'm not gonna go that far, but I do think LeBaron like can be an elite guard in this league, no doubt about it in my mind. But my last thing too, and I hate to say this because I'm generally rooting for this dude, but I just don't see it in the NBA. But I don't believe in Keaton Wagner, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like I want,
right?
yeah, from Illinois, yeah. Like he's a great story. Like I understand it. Yes, he was not ranked out of high school. He only had a few offers before Illinois swept in and threw him the offer. Has a legendary, year out there in Champaign. Goes crazy. Has almost 50 points at Mackey Arena. I get it, but for me, when you rely on a whole bunch of tough and contested jumpers, it's hard for me to see that translate to the NBA level. I'm gonna just be honest with you, and especially because you're not crazy athletic, you're not super dynamic. Obviously, you could say it for any draft prospect, but you're not the strongest dude out there. So I'm rooting for him just because those are the basketball stories that I love to root for and cling on, but I just don't see it, y'all. And maybe I'm crazy. I hope to be wrong, but I don't know. What y'all think about that?
Look, only Illinois guard that's really been good was
Aaron.
So I'm not that high on him either, but I do like the guy from Alabama. He's really good. He is one of those people like Darius and Coach just took off, but Malik, when he gets the opportunity, because I think he's gonna end up on a team where he could show what he can do with some space and how he can score. He's a bucket. And he's a good player overall, period. Like he is, I think he's a lot of talent too.
Sure. Oh yeah, and if the Hawks don't get a guard, what's the big from Michigan?
Daimar.
That's the way they should go because he can spread the floor, he can get down in the paint. Like that's definitely where the Hawks need to go if they can't get one of those dynamic point guards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, going back to him, defensively, I think he's gonna be elite. And obviously, like centers and bigs compared to guards, it takes him a minute to translate going from high school to college to the NBA. So you got to give him a little bit of time to find himself. But he's gonna be a player. And I think the main thing about him too that I really love, he could pass the hell out of the ball, bro. Like with either hand too. Like I think he's from Spain. I watched him when he was like super young. He's probably about 16, 17, playing for the Spain national team. And he was dominant. He was playing against us. We beat him in the gold medal game, but he kept them in that game damn near single-handedly. So I think he's gonna be a problem too. But let's go back to some Atlanta guards and some wings, I guess, real quick, because one of my favorite players in the league right now is none other than Ant-Man out there in Minnesota. And for some reason, I still feel like he doesn't get his just due because this dude has been in the league for 6 years. And I don't think we take into context that he took the Minnesota Timberwolves to back-to-back Western Conference. Like, the Timberwolves have a history, with all due respect, of just being garbage. If we just call it a spade, yes. Nas Reed is a big part of that. Jetty McDaniels a big part of that. Cat laid a solid foundation. Obviously, Julius Randle's there now. They have pieces. Shout out to Dante DiVincenzo. Hopefully, he gets healthy soon. But what Ant has done in only 6 years, I feel like we take for granted because we always looking for the next new star. It's Wemby now. It was Shea before. It's always somebody. But just talk to me about Ant-Man. I mean, this is a dude that's from the A, didn't go to no big high school. I think he went to like a random Catholic school, if I'm not mistaken. So just talk to me about Ant and where he needs to improve on as a player and where the Wolves need to improve on as a team to get him over that hump and on the NBA final stage.
Yeah, man. And you've seen the steps that he's taking every year. Like he's getting better. And honestly, this year, you can call it an excuse. He was hurt. He didn't even qualify for the end of the season awards. And he was clearly hurt in the playoffs. He was already on one knee and then he hurt the other one, and that clearly affected Minnesota. But it's just like what you just said. We've never in my lifetime, I just turned 36 in February. I've never seen Minnesota Timberwolves even, they made back-to-back conference finals. And they were up 2-1 on the Spurs this year while Ant was on one leg. But I think what's going to help them next year is put the right pieces around him. I think you got to put a guard around him who can, because look at how they played when AO, and I don't believe AO is that guard, but when he has those big games, he can be aggressive in scoring. I think they have to intentionally do that. Like I saw they were going to be interested in like Austin Reeves, and I'm not saying Austin Reeves is the guy, but that's the idea. I've been saying that they should go after Kyrie, but I don't think Dallas wants to let Kyrie go. I think they want him with Cooper Flag for at least for a season, but I think you put him with a good guard that can, you just need somebody that can kind of do their own thing as well while being able to run the team. But he's handling the ball a lot more, so he's facilitating for others and things like that. But sometimes you need somebody else to just go get that bucket. But I think what's the next step for him we saw him play inside a little bit more, like keep working on his mid range, keep attacking when he see those double teams coming. And I just think it's a matter of time, honestly. Like I do know, like Wemby is a real deal problem, but I'm not gonna say it's nice because it's gonna come. I feel like I come off as a hater when I talk about Wemby because I respect the game, but it's basketball, bro. Like we've seen the best of the best. I've seen Jordan play. I've seen LeBron. So it's like I don't care that he's 7'4". What are you doing on the court? And they got to the finals this year, but I don't think he's not unbeatable to me. So I believe in a player like Ant who also wouldn't be scared of him, and he's going to attack. And if you give him the right proper pieces and he's healthy, he's going to be a problem for the Spurs. It's not just OKC and the Spurs for the next 3 to 5 years. Not as long as 5 still in the West. Maybe if they move him to the East. But Minnesota got some work to do, and he still has to get better. But it's not just OKC and the Spurs in the West as long as 85 over there.
And it's one of them. I'm trying to think how I want to say it because I've been thinking about it the whole time. So, because of course I don't just want to throw names out there because as soon as you hear names, people hear names, they get into comparisons. And of course, I'm not comparing him to any of these players, but he fits their mold, that Jordan, Kobe, Wade mold. Whereas his point guard doesn't need to be a scorer. His point guard needs to be able to do their own thing. Now, to your point, but you build such a not a specific offense around him, but you need such a specific type of offense around him to where there's no reason outside of him just, having these little ticky-tack injuries that Ant isn't averaging 30 points, in the NBA. I don't think Minnesota's offense allows that because it doesn't get him in the spots where he needs to be because he's a tough shot maker. We know what he's going to do in the last 3 minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. If he right there in the fourth quarter, they're probably going to win. To your credit, he probably should have won Clutch Player of the Year. But he needs a coach and a point guard that's going to be like, you don't need to go one-on-one right now.
Yeah.
You need to go to the elbow. I'm going to go weak side for you. Like, who's this Derek Fisher? Ron Hart, Steve Kerr,
BJ
Armstrong. Like, the list goes on for these, not necessarily floor general point guards, but they run the offense for you. Like this what we're going to this set. You just score right there. Where you're not going nowhere else until they stop. They stop it once, cool. Can they stop it 2 times in a row? That's what they need. Jaylen McDaniels has to become not better offensively, but just consistent. Because once again, as I'm getting older, I understand that these are real people, but who they are on the basketball court, I kind of pay attention to that. Jaylen McDaniels' basketball character is perfect next to Ant basketball character.
Yeah.
It's that same confidence. It's not as loud as Ant because Ant is just, that's who he is. He's a character already, no disrespect to him. But Jaylen McDaniels' basketball character is perfect. It's that he's stoic, but he's confident. We heard what he said against the Nuggets, like, can't none of them defend. He went on average 27 for the rest of that series. And you need that next to Ant. But when it's a team like San Antonio, we saw what happened where this game is cool, this half is cool, but it wasn't enough to where it's like, we know Ant giving you 22 on 2 bad knees. He's still shooting good percent. He can't even attack the rim, honestly. Me and Fresh talked about, I forgot what game it was. He middle of the season, easy dunk. I don't even remember who was defending the fast break. He threw the softest bounce pass because he just wanted to get somebody else to get the ball so they could do something with it because he just couldn't move at that point. That's the first thing. He just couldn't move to even attack the rim. And that's who it was. He passed to Jaylen McDaniels, and Jaylen McDaniels kind of looked away the first shot because he wasn't really – not that he wasn't confident in it, but that wasn't the shot he wanted to take. So Jaylen McDaniels just – all-star stuff would be perfect, but I need to know consistently that Jaylen McDaniels is going to give me 23 a night.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for Ant to score 30. Shout out to Mike Conley. I remember he was the first person talking about Mike Conley back in the day at an AAU tournament. Real shit. He said Mike Conley was better than Greg Oden. Like that's what he said. I don't know.
That's what I saw.
That's what he said. He was at the tournament. He saw him. He was like, because everybody was gonna talk about Greg Oden, but Mike Conley was the real deal. Mike Conley has been the real deal in the NBA. Mike Conley needs to be a backup in the NBA. They depend on him for way too many minutes. Way too much. And shout out to him for still accepting that challenge and doing that. But they need a new Mike Conley. Like,
I think even Mike Conley knows that his minutes should go down. I saw today that a person they have interest in is Derek White also. Derek White makes sense as well because it doesn't have to be
as a traditional point guard
or as flashy as Kyrie, but you need somebody that's gonna shoot, that can pass, he's gonna defend a little bit, and he could just help Ant overall. Derek White got that experience too, so that wouldn't be a bad.
And that's a shooter on the wing when they do go double Ant. Because what's the point of passing if anybody gonna make that shot?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with y'all wholeheartedly, bro. You got to get Ant a point guard. I think he's got to become a little bit just more aggressive in that mid-range area because we already know he's booming on dudes. He's hitting threes. You know, he's definitely made that stride as a shooter. But once he masters that in-between game, it's going to be nothing they can do with him, right? We've seen it historically, whether it's MJ, Kobe, you know, God rest his soul, KD. It's just once you master that Kawhi, you become unguardable. That element to your game, it's the most available shot in basketball, in my opinion, because you just can't stop it, right? You either expect him to go to the rim or you expect him to shoot three. So if you get in that in-between game, everything else just eases itself into you. So I'm looking forward to Ant-Man just continuing to take them strides in development. And hopefully the T-Wolves can put that team around him because I don't think it's far-fetched. Like, they've been in the thick of things for the last few years. As you mentioned, like, they was right there in 2024. I know Kyrie and Luka kind of got them out of there, but even last year, or this year with the Spurs, they was right there. Ant gets hurt, changes up the series, but they've been not too far. They just got to get a few more incremental pieces. But like you said, Fresh, I would love – it's probably not going to happen, but I would love if they can get Kyrie. Because they get Kyrie, we're talking about them in a whole different stratosphere, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. But let me ask y'all that same thing for Jaylen Brown because he's another interesting case, right? I mean, he's been in the league for 10 years now, which is crazy to think about because I remember watching him at Wheeler. Shout out to Wheeler. That's arguably the best high school program out there. Goes to Cal Berkeley first season. And then he's been with the Celtics his entire career. And it feels like majority of those 10 years, people have been talking about splitting up him and Jason Tatum. It's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. They win a championship in 2024, shut down all the doubters, all the haters. But now we hear in this trade chatter that he might be, you know, in a trade for Giannis. He might not be. It might be time for him to break up. People are saying he talks too much and all this other stuff. So just show Jaylen Brown some love and appreciation for the people out there. And just where do you think he can go from here too?
Yeah, shout out to Wheeler. That started with Sharif. Sharif from Wheeler. Jaylen Brown is funny. Like, I've been high on Jaylen since him coming out of high school too. I remember when he did go 3, and some people kind of questioned it. Like, I'll be honest, some stuff I saw him in high school, it's just easy to throw around because you see a 6'6" wing. But I was like, this dude is like Kobe in high school. But I feel like Jaylen Brown, whether you think he's better than Jason Tatum or not, I feel like people finally see that it's not as far as some people try to make it out to be. His Finals MVP was not a fluke. Whether you think Jason Tatum is better or not, it's just not way over here. With that being said, I would not even slightly, unless he asked for that trade, I wouldn't consider trading him for Giannis. I don't think it makes sense. But I can see Jaylen Brown in a world where, you know, because he kind of does his own thing. He's a free thinker. He is a smart dude. And he's been in Boston a long time. And you won a championship there. You've been to 2. Maybe you can, I don't know how this man feels personally, but with just some of the stuff that come out, maybe you could feel a little unappreciated. Maybe he wants to know what it looked like somewhere else. Sure. And I think if that happens, I think Jaylen Brown with the right team around him, you can make some noise. Like, he's a 3-level scorer. He's going to defend. He's not afraid of the big moments. And I think he's a good leader for your team. And like I said, just overall a smart dude. Like, he's a smart dude, like, off the court, period. He's just a real smart dude. He's very conscious of his and the people that's around him, which I appreciate that about him. I don't really care for all the streaming stuff, but that's just not my world. He's a I don't care for it. I just don't care about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a streamer. I don't watch the streams. I don't think he's not, you know, I don't mind him doing it. And I don't mind him speaking up for himself and stuff like that. But on the court, like, Jaylen Brown is a problem. And I think if you can somehow keep him and you get Giannis with that, now we're talking about something. But I wouldn't trade him for Giannis. I'm hoping that we want him to come to Atlanta. Like, I see a world where he fits here because outside of having a guard in Atlanta, let's just say we're going to run with what we got. It would be nice to, put a wing opposite Jaylen Johnson, a wing that is a scorer, a possessional scorer, a half-court scorer, because Jalen Johnson is going to be the best at open court.
Right.
He still got work to do on his half-court game. He's not a back-to-the-basket player. He's not a pick-and-pop shooter. He's not a mid-range shooter. He's an athlete. He can go by you, got a quick first step, he'll dunk on you. He's not afraid to shoot, but he's not a shooter. If they had a player where okay, we done had a couple tough possessions, let's pass to him and Jaylen Brown, or get in that mid-range, or he put his back to you and he hits turnaround jumpers, I think that'll look good for the Hawks. And the city would definitely appreciate him coming here. He's done a lot for the city too. He was like one of the first pros that played when they were first getting the city program going, the AEBL. Mm-hmm. One of the first to jump into that. He's just done a lot in the city, period. So the people here would embrace him. I think another place that I saw him, I hate the New Orleans. No, don't go to New Orleans. Don't go to Sacramento. That's where careers go to die.
Yeah. So
I think I saw like the Clippers were interested in him. I don't know how they pull that off. Interested with like putting him with Kawhi. If you go Jaylen Brown, Kawhi, and you still have Darius Garland, I'm willing to see what y'all talking about.
No, Jaylen Brown has such an interesting just NBA career.
Yeah,
been going to conference finals since his rookie year. Actually had a couple of games at the conference finals his rookie year. Consistently in the playoff. I maybe missed playoff maybe once or twice, maybe once. No, you win. Go to 2 championships. You win one. You get paid by the team that drafts you. It's so easy to say that, oh yeah, the Celtics appreciate it. Like they look all the money they gave, whatever. I'm not counting his pockets. But it's such an interesting thing because he can stay and him and Jason Tatum can ride this out and they could probably be the second, third best duo in Boston Celtics history. Or realistically, just in my opinion, I feel like he's paid his NBA dues to where, like I said, we've seen him on the come up, on the rise. We've seen him all-star, all-NBA. We just saw what he did last year with, as the best player on the team. Like I said, Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm not saying, like I said, I don't want Boston to break up because I feel like you always need 2. I know they're talking about getting Giannis, but you always need 2. And you have 2 players that can kind of replicate the same thing, from each other. That's the ultimate on and off type of thing you want in the NBA. Like, offense doesn't have to change when one of y'all not on the court. No, it's not easy, but that's what we want.
Yeah.
But it's something about, and we've all heard the comments, this was his favorite season, blah, blah, blah. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, wouldn't it be? Finished top 5 in scoring, led his team to the second seed, playoffs play out how they play out. But I told y'all I could do this, and I just had to show y'all I could do this. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if he is feeling like I could go lead a team somewhere else. I already got my contract, so teams got to eat that money up, whatever. They got to figure out a way to get the money, make the money work. Like I say, smart dude, basketball and personal character is amazing. He's the type of player you want where he's young enough to where we can have him for 5-6 years, but he has so much tenure in the NBA. It's like he can lead a team vocally. He can lead a team by example. If I'm the Hawks, if I can figure out a way to get Jaylen Brown, I'm getting him. If I'm any team there's so many, wing is such a premium position. I don't care what nobody say, because if you got a wing that can give you 26, at least 26 on 43+% shooting, that's good offense. And then defensively, when he's locked in, he'll go guard anybody. He'll take the challenge, like Chris said. So it's like Boston should figure out a way to keep them together. But if I'm teams and I'm hearing the talk, I'm trying to figure out, I'm putting something together like Jaylen Brown might be the player we need to get across that, go to the next level. Be that type of player.
Yeah, I tend to agree, bro. My thing is, if you Brad Stevens, and shout out to Danny Ainge, because I know he drafted Tatum and Brown, but you got 2 high-level wings in the NBA. You got 2 of the highest-level wings that can guard, defend, shoot, rebound. They do everything, right? So I never liked when people compare them. I get it. We always arguing 1A, 1B, this and that, whatever. It's the nature of the beast nowadays, but they actually complement each other's games. I don't think they ever get enough credit for that. And Jaylen is a dude that could have easily been like, hey, I'm a year older. This is my team, this and that. But he didn't do that. He allowed Jason Tatum to be great off the rip. We talking, remember, Jason Tatum was dunking on Bron, in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, I feel like they don't just get enough credit for that, just being able to play off of each other. And I think, obviously, we know basketball's a team game. You got to thrive with each other. You got to figure it out one way or another. And they've done it now with, Ime, with Brad, with Missoula now, right? So like they done figured it out. So if I'm the Celtics, as much as I hate them, I'm trying to keep Jaylen Brown as long as I can. But I wouldn't be mad, as you just mentioned, Dub, is that if he wants his own team, I think he's more than showcased that this year. This was the perfect example, right? And then on top of not even just Tatum being hurt, but you got rid of your entire front court essentially with Al Horford being gone, with Porzingis being gone. And we seen they got exposed versus Philly because obviously he played against Embiid, who was on one knee, but still, he's still a pretty good player even with one knee. And that's the team that Jaylen Brown drugged to a second seed. So
Exactly.
I feel like you got to give him his flower for that, man. But my last two questions for y'all, man. I'd be remiss if I did not talk about the New York Knickerbockers winning the title for the first time in 53 years, man. Shout out to my dog Prezi. He probably out there plastered out his mind right now in NY. I know they just had the parade yesterday. It looked like it was going crazy in good and bad ways, but the Knicks won a championship, bro. It doesn't even sound real to say that, but I'm glad that they did because the more that I watched them, I can honestly say the more I enjoyed and appreciated the type of basketball that they played. From taking a risk of firing Tibbs and bringing in Mike Brown to bringing in the Nova Knicks, right? To trading for OG a few years ago for RJ Barrett. Like they made a lot of very key moves. You got to shout out to Worldwide West in that front office, Leon Rose, the rest of the crew, James Dolan for putting his hands in the backseat and not messing things up. But the Knicks have won an NBA championship after 5 decades. So just talk to me about what it means, how they did it, and Jalen Brunson putting on for the small guards out there.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie. The last time the Knicks won, our dad wasn't even alive when the Knicks won the 2 championships. It's so it's so crazy to see because I've seen it's only a handful of teams I haven't seen win a championship in my lifetime. It's like never necessarily a Knicks fan, but that's always one of them teams because Knicks always had players I like when I was younger. Penny, T-Mac, Steph, Marbury, Amari. They've always had players I like. I'm not cheering for the Knicks though, but somebody like I'm not cheering for the Knicks though. But it actually is surreal to see because it's like they've had good teams. Patrick Ewing, Melo, they've had teams that was like they could probably get over that hump, but it's like when you could build. And me and friends have had these conversations on our show before. It's like sometimes you just got to build a team to the identity of your city. We're gonna be tough. The shit is gonna be ugly most nights. We're gonna be fun with it though. Like it's gonna be a mix of everything, but nothing else. We're gonna be the city. We're gonna be the team that don't be the city that never sleep. We're gonna be the team that don't stop playing. And we saw that in the finals. Like me and Fresh just having conversations. Like the Knicks won doing the opposite of what OKC was doing in that conference finals, where it's like, oh, now I'm not even gonna give y'all MVP a chance, y'all MVP and clutch player a chance to come back. Like y'all not gonna give them the first 5 minutes, but like let's see what y'all can do. And Mike Brown having that confidence, because even like it's not like he played a different rotation than Tibbs did. He didn't play a bunch of players. Like he figured out ways to spell some players, get them some rest, but he wasn't going deep in that bench for real in the playoffs. He played his 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all ain't gonna get it done. That's who gonna play. If I can sneak you in there, cool. If I can sneak you in there, cool. When Deuce won't give him no minutes, stay on the bench. I'm gonna play Shannon.
Yep.
Like, hey Mitch, I'm gonna play you, but if I can't play you, we just not gonna play you. We see what he did. He went with OG at the 5 in the game 5 because we gotta make it happen because hey, this is what we do here. We make shit happen. Like. And that's what this team was. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. The conversation, not to get into that conversation because still let them have their parade, let them celebrate and all this. Mike Brown got to stop asking who let the dogs out there. But shout out to Jalen Brunson for even having that, for being able to let his pride and ego go. Because I'm not gonna lie, nobody else on this Knicks team is going to sacrifice any money to try to win another championship.
Man,
Brunson knowing that. This is what I need to do, or this is the right move. Shout out to his dad for also putting that in his ear as well, because he don't make that decision by himself. It was his decision at the end of the day, because it's his career, it's his life. But you're not going to tell me, Rick, when just saying, bro, just think about what you can do. If you just this time. That next time, though, every dollar they're supposed to give you that next time. But this time, we're not going to worry about that. We're gonna put a team out here, and you're going to get you a championship. And that's what the Knicks did. They literally went and got them a championship. They earned that one.
Yeah, I think I feel a few ways about the Knicks winning. It's funny. It's crazy to say it, but this is this era of the NBA. I've now seen the Raptors win a championship, the Nuggets, the Bucks, teams I never thought would see. Not even that they were bad teams. Like the Bucks have always been competitive, but they hadn't won since Kareem them. But I feel like the Knicks. I feel two ways about them. One, they brought the NBA back to what happened last year with OKC doesn't normally happen. And not that they aren't a great team, they're clearly a great team. But the young team that's just on such a heater that the experience doesn't matter. And they also, as I've been telling him, because we just talk about stuff, it ain't about discrediting nobody or whatever, it's just about what happens. It's like you play in the finals last year, OKC that is, and they play the Pacers. This isn't a super experienced team. And not that the Knicks are experienced championship-wise, but you got guys with playoff stripes. You got guys with 7-8 years in the league. You got a coach who his first finals appearance was in 2007. So it was like the experience ran deep. And also down to this was a team that also everybody uses analytics, but that's not what they're leaning on either. Because as he said, a little bit different from Tibbs, but Mike Brown was playing his players as well. But it really pissed me off how Daigneault coached OKC, because I get the mindset of you're down this amount, we just gonna come back next game. It ain't always a next game, and you give away games by not even giving your team a chance. You like, all right, we down 25. Sometimes you got to put them out there and see what those players can do. And Mike Brown did that. When they were down 30, he didn't leave Jaylen Brunson on the bench to start that next quarter. He played him. He played him outside of his regular rotation. Let's see what you can do. And if you don't do that in 2 or 3 minutes, I'll pull you. Now we get ready for the next game. But to sit players early in the fourth quarter, because Shea didn't play in 2 fourth quarters in the conference finals. That's crazy. It's crazy. But that's the analytical side of it. But despite all that BS, you got to give them credit for what they did. Jaylen Brunson, the man is a winner. 2 championships in college, a championship in the NBA. He got 3 in high school. Like I don't think people who win like that, it's not a fluke. People who win like that in this game is not a fluke. Winning translates, especially when you play a particular way. And I think he was ultra focused. I think the team was built correctly. Shout out to all them years when they were building on the younger players and you build into culture and stuff like that. But we always told them, we used to have these talks back with the Off the Ball Network, like when they want to win, it's not going to be with these young players. Somebody's getting traded. You just got to find the piece that makes sense. Who we're going to sign, so now we can trade around to do it. So you sign Jaylen Brunson. You bring in OG. And then the 2 trades that everybody hated the most, I won't say they hated the Cat trade, it made sense, but everybody hated the Mikal Bridges trade, but it was necessary. Those 5 picks are not going to win you a championship. One championship is worth 5 number 1 picks. Because them 5 picks may not win a championship. Like, look how long it takes. It's been 50 years since you – just imagine they don't win another one from today to 50 years from now. I think this one championship is worth those 5 picks. So you just got to give them credit for how they played. They play today's style because they shoot threes and stuff like that, but they rebound. They play defense. They play the mid-range game. They get to the free throw line. They play all levels of basketball. And I like when people who play basketball win. That's like the basketball guys making it right. Because OKC shouldn't have won last year. They was too young. They weren't ready. And they learned that they weren't ready this year. They were hurt, but they learned that they weren't ready for real this year. Because the mistake they made this year, they should have learned that in their first run. And that was good for the Spurs because they just learned a good lesson. Because winning this championship would have we could do it just like that again. It's ups and downs to it. That's where the experience go. What happens when you down? Because if you only know how to win when you up, what happens when you're not up?
Man, and that's the biggest thing I want to give them credit for because, bro, every time when they could have folded, it was so many games. Obviously, basketball's a game of runs, right? So you're going to be up, you're going to be down, you're going to be tied, whatever the case may be. But anytime they went down, It was no flinching. It was no panicking. It was no throwing out random substitutions. It wasn't doing
bad body language.
nothing. Exactly. Great point, bro. Great point, because they just know what it is. And Brunson, as you mentioned, bro, I got to salute him because, like you said, one at every level, right? He's doing it at a high level. He's not blowing past you all the time. He's killing you with footwork. He's watching his footwork and, more importantly, his defender's footwork. And he just playing a different game compared to everybody else on the floor. And then, to me, the biggest separator that I didn't even take into account going into the finals is that when it was crunch time, with all due respect to Wemby, Brunson was by far the best player in that category. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And then, again, we joke about, like, I know the Nova Knicks thing is kind of like a running joke. I get it. But at the same time, bro, when you have been in those battles with your dogs, and I always say, like, yeah, San Antonio's a great crowd. I understand the NBA atmospheres are different, but when you go to Butler and Hinkle Fieldhouse, when you go to some of these different environments in the Big East, of course, it's different, bro. Like, it's different. And they, as you mentioned, they won 2 national championships together in college with him and Mikal. Like, that's tough, bro. And then, you know, Josh Hart, it was games where he was getting 4 points and 15 rebounds. I'm like, God damn, like, that's a dude that stars in his role to the ultimate extent. So I gotta salute the Knicks, bro.
Because they just like whenever we it's like when we go play. It's like it's cool if it's us two and then okay, fine, we got 3 randoms, whatever, because we just gonna play. But it's nothing like having you and your homies on the court, and it's like, I don't care about your mistakes because I know what you're gonna do. Like I know you know your role already, and having, like I ain't gonna put best friends on because I don't know them, but having 2 teammates that you just know like that. We know Josh Hart, Jaylen Brunson know Josh Hart not finna shoot them threes. That's why he don't mind when he pump fake, gets to the rim and kick it back out. Jaylen Brunson know that's not our game. I'm pretty sure he be wanting Mikal Bridges to make them shots because Mikal Bridges has been a good shooter in the NBA. He need to, but whoever his shooting coach is, he need to get rid of him over these last 2 seasons. That hitch is still crazy. It's got better, but it's still crazy at times. But it's just nothing like playing hooping with your homies. Like it's childish as it sounds. There's nothing like hooping with your homies for real. Like
they get to do it on like the highest level, but it's like you to be out there, and especially y'all not just on the team together, but y'all make it to this level and y'all are on the court together. They play a lot of minutes together. It's like you're on the court with somebody. Their college championship was 10 years ago, so we've been winning for 10 years. You know what I'm thinking. They know what Jaylen Brunson is going to do in the fourth quarter. They know Josh Hart can be having a terrible shooting game. He's still going to try and go get 18 rebounds for them. Mikal Bridges, he's going to have all shooting nights. They still try to put him in the right position. They just like know what to do. And I feel like they were when they got Cat last year, I was like, they're going to be in the finals. Their chance for being in the finals is going to be in these first 2 years because you got to kind of, it's always weird. I'm real big on like getting traded and training camp and stuff like that. I feel like it's just a little bit weirder when you're going on trying to win a championship because your routine not the same. You kind of learn your players and stuff like that. But now you go through a whole season together. This off season, you're comfortable. You ain't moving. You're not getting traded a day or 2 before camp start. Your whole off season is literally just you preparing for the season. And I think all of that plays a part into your chemistry because I feel like this team had great chemistry as well too. Everybody understood what somebody was bringing to the floor. They knew what OG was going to do. You knew what Cat was going to do. Even when Cat got in foul trouble, they knew he was going to get in foul trouble. He always in foul trouble. That's Cat. But
because we know that we don't have that body language of what are you doing with 5 fouls? Like no, so we expected this at some point.
You got to give this team credit, and I just think that's the NBA today as well as like 8 straight different champions. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Knicks, bro. They just played it like we just said. Great brand of team basketball. They getting stops. They beating up people. I feel like that was the main thing. Like y'all said, they played to identity of their city, right? And you have that physicality standpoint when you know that you're gonna rebound. Like, let's be honest. I love Mitch Robinson, but Mitch Robinson has not improved in the slightest offensively. And he's still super impactful and he's still making things happen. I'm like, damn, like that's honestly the identity. Like they maximize these dudes' strengths and they kind of cover up their flaws and weaknesses and they ran with that. And so I think that's a major salute to Mike Brown, his staff, everybody else out there doing it with them. And again, some of these stories like Jose Alvarado to me, bro, is a prime story of why I love the game because he goes undrafted. He's with the Pelicans. He gets traded to his hometown team. And then right off the bat, he wins a championship for his city. So I'm like little things like that. And even in the game, what was that, game 4, I want to say, when they had that crazy comeback, or game 3, whatever game it was. Bro, he hit some major shots, and they benched Mikal Bridges for him, right?
Yep.
And like, so I'm like, damn, like, shout out to them, bro, because they took some chances, but that shit paid off in a high way. So shout out to the Knicks, man. But as we get out of here, man, the hottest news in the NBA, I think at least, is the Giannis trade rumors. And it's a lot going on. So I just want to ask y'all, do y'all think he stays? Do you think he gets traded at all? Where would you like to see Giannis go? I know a lot of us have been saying he should have been left a long time ago. How you think this Giannis saga plays out in Milwaukee? Do you think he, like I said, y'all think he gets traded? What y'all think going on? I know it's been a lot of rumors out there, so just talk to me about this whole Giannis situation.
I get traded to the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna take a lot of time on Giannis, bro. His time in Milwaukee is up. Tired of him and the Bucks. He should have got traded at the trade deadline. I think they do this back and forth thing where Giannis tries to play the good guy, but he's really an asshole behind the scenes. I don't believe the character that he puts out there, and it's cool. He won a championship there. He won 2 MVPs. His jersey's gonna get retired there. When he goes in the Hall of Fame, it's gonna be with the Bucks. But his time there is up. I like the idea of him going to Miami. I like the idea. I was one of the few people I said I liked him going to Portland, but you can't put him and that together. But I think Miami would be cool for him. I could see a world where him and Bam works. Then you bring in a good guard that goes with that too, because I think you're gonna need a guard because Tyler Hero's probably. I mean, if you could keep Tyler Hero, I feel like that's better. But I feel like Tyler Hero, he might be out. They talking about something in Detroit, but I feel like Miami works for Giannis. I think it's a good location. I think that's where he should go. Honestly, like Miami is where he should be trying to get to.
If Giannis does get traded, Miami probably makes the most sense, culture-wise, basketball culture-wise. But I am at this point. It's like every offseason, it shouldn't be this. This shouldn't be a thing every offseason.
Man,
it just shouldn't be. I'm one of them. Like me and Fred had a conversation about players getting traded. My whole thing is like, you already got a championship. I don't think another championship really helps his legacy more than he has 2 championships. As crazy as it sounds, and
no, he's past that point.
He absolutely is. Like you said, jersey going down, getting retired. If you stay there another couple seasons, keep doing what you're doing, he goes down as the best Milwaukee Bucks player in history. But it's like, what are you playing for currently? Honestly, like you can go to Milwaukee, you can get your stats. You can be in Milwaukee for the next 10 years. Average 27, 12, 4, and 2 blocks. Yeah. And we're not gonna say nothing about him not being a top 10 player currently.
I do have one dark horse team though. I wouldn't mind Detroit getting involved just because I want to see Detroit and on Giannis. I just want to see. Okay. I feel like Detroit could get Detroit. I want Detroit to go guard or power forward, but I don't want them to gut their team for it. So I like the idea of him going to Detroit, but. Man, I think it's time for Giannis to go somewhere else. I think it's time for the Bucks to go ahead and start rebuilding. Yeah,
that's what they're doing anyway.
The Bucks aren't victims. Giannis isn't a victim. They both kind of playing the game right now, and I think it should be over with.
Like I said, this should be the last off. If he gets traded or not, this should be the last off season of this like Giannis versus Milwaukee thing. Yeah. It just should be. Yeah.
No, I agree, man. I'm with y'all. I'm honestly tired of it. As a Heat fan, I kind of stay attached to it just because obviously it's my team, right? So, like, it is what it is. And I'll be honest, like, we were terrible this year. And I knew the moment the whole Jimmy thing played out, we was going to go through a downward spiral. You got to figure it out. Luckily, we're able to kind of maintain whatever that means. But my thing is, if he goes to Miami, I like the core. Obviously, I know people kind of question the fit with him and Bam. It's Spo. I expect Spo to make it work one way or another. And then you have Andrew Wiggins still there. You got Norm Powell there. My only concern will be the point guard spot because as much as I do appreciate Davion Mitchell, I'm not comfortable with Davion as my starting point guard trying to contend. I'm just being honest. Go ahead, Fresh.
I love Davion Mitchell, bro. He's a real hooper. He's a winning basketball player. He can't be y'all starting point guard, bro.
I agree, bro. Yeah, and that's the Heat thing. I'm gonna let you go, but let me just say that real quick. That's the Heat thing, bro. Is that we love to get these dudes that are kind of unheralded, that have kind of been through the mud, and then we use them, and then we max them out, and then they go other places, and they don't have that same impact. And it's like Davion gonna be the same situation for me, bro. And like I don't hate Davion, like I really do. I appreciate his game. He's 100% effort. He's picking up full court. He's a prototypical Heat player. But again, for Giannis' sake, we talking about Giannis and Bam, bro. Let's go get us a real point guard, bro. Please.
I definitely agree with that. Because once again, I think just basketball culture-wise, how you go down to Miami, for the full season, like we're working hard every night, every day. We working hard, and I feel like Giannis is a hard worker.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
I can't take that away from him.
Hard worker for sure.
I'm not really worried. I was at one point kind of concerned about him and Bam, combo. But at the end of the day, it's 6'10" Brook Lopez. Like he's gonna be behind the point, like he gonna shoot, he gonna handle the ball a little better. He's gonna be a better defender. I think defensively, that's an amazing team, honestly. Yeah. But the two questions is gonna be who's gonna be your actual starting point guard and who's gonna be some players off the bench when we do need to sit somebody. Then you only need 9, but it's like who's gonna be those players off the bench, especially because Tyler Hero is probably gonna be the one player. Because it's not gonna be a 2-team trade. It's gonna be at least 3 teams. Yeah. And Tyler Hero is gonna be get caught in the crossfire and get traded. Yeah, for sure. Because his skill set.
You gotta give you getting Giannis. So you gotta give up something.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just gonna be draft picks, but I get the Bam and Giannis, can they work? Because I thought that too, but I feel like they're both like Bam is super skilled, bro. Like he can pass, he can handle the ball. I think Bam fits, and Bam. I think they work because Bam doesn't want to be a number one. He's not an 83-point. Like
hell no. Nah.
I don't think he wants to be a go-to option offensively. I just think he's a great team leader. He's a good offensive player where you do want to run plays through him, and he's going to take advantage of his mismatches. But we're not about to look up and Bam about to be averaging 30. So I don't think Giannis is taking the ball away from Bam. So
Nah, I agree, man. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you never know with the Bucks. The Bucks be doing crazy business too. Obviously, they traded Drew, ended up with Dame. It sounded good in theory, didn't work out, but it is what it is. I feel like when you one of them markets, you got to just take chances sometimes, especially when you got arguably your franchise's greatest player, right? So, like, it is what it is, but we'll see. I hope it is in Miami. I would love to get that red Giannis Miami jersey right now if I could, because I need some red, but we'll see how it pans out. But, man, Fresh, Dub, Hoopers, man, I appreciate y'all for this one, man. This was, like we said earlier, way overdue. So please just plug the socials. Let us know where we can find you. Let us know what y'all got up next, what y'all got for the summer. Let us know everything Hoopers, man.
Yeah, for sure. What's coming up next is, so I'm not going to lie, man, it's been a lot going on. We were supposed to drop the Hoopers magazine, so we dropped the first one, the winter one, we dropped back in February. Yeah. So I was going to do the spring edition. I just had a lot going on. Look, we're a 2-man team, bro. Like what we do is legit all of us. When you see the pods, any type of videos, the graphics in our magazines, it's only us that's doing it. So the magazine just kind of fell off, and I feel like I got some pieces in there that's a little dated, and I want to do it right. We've been transitioning and doing some different stuff. So look out for the Hooper magazine in the fall. We're gonna start out right with the season and get it right. I feel like we're gonna get some stuff back going with the pod because we just going into a different space. So we're gonna get back into. It's gonna be a lot of more hoop talk last year. We were very quiet this year just because, like I said, there's been a lot going on. But definitely look forward to some hoop talk coming next season. The Hoopers magazine is the big thing for us, though. So definitely look out for that. Appreciate the people that supported the first one. Like that got great feedback. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people appreciated it, and it was just like an idea that I just had, honestly, because I just I used to be in the writing and all that type of stuff, and I got all these magazines, so that's a lane I thought I was gonna go in. I was like, man, we should drop a magazine, and we went from thinking about it in October, and it was dropped a couple months later. Right? Yeah. So shout out to the Hoopers magazine. It's gonna be some big things that's gonna happen with that. I don't remember. We got a new Twitter, so you gotta tell me the Twitter.
It's same always just the Hoopers Pod. Yeah. Capital T, capital H, capital P. IG is still the same. Hoopers _pod. Yeah. Personal Twitters. If you want to get that out.
Do I got a personal Twitter? Oh yeah, I do got a personal Twitter. I don't know my Twitter name. I ain't gonna lie. I'm on social media, man. Just look up Fresh X. I'm there. Man. I follow us on YouTube for sure, because there's some stuff on there. So the Hoopers Pod on YouTube and Fresh on YouTube as well. But we everywhere. Just search the Hoopers Pod and we'll pop up.
It absolutely will. It's gonna be the first podcast. It's gonna be the first podcast you see on Google.
For sure.
Nah, for sure. Nah, man. I appreciate y'all again. We definitely gonna do this much more sooner the next time for sure. Especially as we get closer to this next NBA season. I know this offseason gonna just breeze by like it did last year. But again, I appreciate y'all, man. This has been another episode of Talking Hoops with Kev Luke. Please like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, and share. Y'all go rock with the Hoopers, man. Go subscribe to the YouTube page. Go follow them on Twitter. All those great things. If you made it this far, I appreciate y'all. And again, enjoy y'all Juneteenth. Stay safe out there. Celebrate responsibly. And shout out to all my Black folks. And as always, peace and love. Gone.